Welcome to another edition of Smalltalk for you. This morning I wanted to go back to the Preferences workspace, which you get to from here, Tools, Open Preference Workspace, and this is in VA Smalltalk, of course. And what I wanted to talk about is porting code between Smalltalks and what you can do to make it a little bit easier from VA if you're moving code from VA to some other Smalltalk. It can be a little easier if you go down here about, maybe a third of the way down, and you'll notice there are a couple of things here. System generic format set to false by default. You can toggle this to true. Notice these other things, that if this is false, you can do a couple of other things to make sure comments go out. Normally it's off. Descriptions go out. Normally that's false. Method categories, normally that's false. So there are a whole bunch of things you can toggle, but if you turn this to true, what it'll do is make a couple of small changes. And I've already done this morning, so let me open the two files in question. So I'm going to go down here to this one where I toggled it out with that set to false, the default in other words. So you're going to see that we have all of this stuff in here. It looks pretty generic here, but it is VA specific. Now let's go down here to the second one where I turned it off. So I wanted to have generic format on, rather. And this is going to look awfully similar. The only real difference you can see here is this. Notice this says counterclass public methods. This says counterclass methods. Small change, not a whole huge big one. However, it does mean that if you take this format here and you go over to something like VisualWorks, it'll file in if you load in the appropriate code from there. And if you're in something like Faro or Squeak, if you can't find an importer, it's easy enough to create one on the fly. I've done this when I was migrating code between Smalltalks. You just keep wandering through the exceptions as you file things in and add the methods that seem to be missing. For instance, you'd probably have to add a class called application, a create method, and so on and so forth. And then you can just have those basically ignored because they don't really matter to you in that foreign Smalltalk. In any case, if you want to do some migration of code and you're starting from VA, this is an area of this workspace that you probably want to pay some attention to. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever Smalltalk you're using.